Okay, Counselor Bahoviak is online, Counselor Smith and Counselor Stevenson.
Okay, Gotti's coming in now.
Okay,
Hi, how you doing?
Dawn, you wanna see if there's a turn around?
Sure.
That way you can.
Should I step over or walk?
Why am I not hearing anything anymore?
nobody's talking yet, Counselor Bahoviak.
Oh, it's not 6:30 yet, is it?
Yes, 6:31.
Okay, the special council meeting for Tuesday, April 26th is called to order. It's 6:32 PM. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay, Counselor Bahoviak,
Present.
Counselor Gowdy,
Present.
Counselor Stevenson,
Present.
Counselor Smith,
Present.
Counselor Martin.
Present.
All five of you are accounted for and present.
Right. Let us, the mayor's here. He just stepped out. He come right back in. And we also have, Don Jones here. Okay?
All right, so the first thing is remarks of public on agenda items only. Do we have anybody from the public on Zoom that would wish to speak? Anybody on Zoom?
One on tape. I'll put this one back.
Okay, nobody on Zoom wants to speak.
Oh, okay, let's move on.
I'm wondering if my item is,
Not on, no, this, on this is a special agenda. Only the two things on here. That's the only thing on tonight. Okay,
okay.
all right.
I know it's a finance committee, right?
No, it's a special council meeting that you deal with financial issues, right?
Oh, can I have a copy of the agenda?
This is all I have.
That's all you have?
Yeah, hold on.
This ain't-
Can you get her a
Yeah,
copy?
yeah. Hold on, I get it.
Give,
That's the mayor. He was.
hold it 1 second, please.
Let me get you a copy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Justin.
all right.
Yeah, copies of agendas are always attached to the Zoom invitations.
Give us 2 minutes.
All right,
Okay,
How you been?
okay, how you been?
I've been great. Been
Okay.
Working, and trying to get some things done for our city. Moving
All right.
forward.
That's good. Give one.
I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we ready to move on now.
okay. Legislation. Resolution number 3422. It's a resolution approving the mayor's second amended financial fiscal recovery plan in accordance with section 118.06 of the Ohio Revised Code for submission to the Financial Planning and Supervision Commission, requested by Mayor Brandon King, sponsored by Corinne Stevenson, Chair of Finance. This is only a first read.
The first read, Corinne Stevenson, resolution 3422 has your name. What is your pleasure?
Send it to committee.
Say that again.
Send it to committee.
That's what you would like to do?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else wants anything to say about resolution? It's first read, so we can discuss it. 3422.
I would certainly like to see it sent to committee also.
Okay, Corinne Stevenson and Patricia Wolovic want this 3422 sent to
committee. I'm gonna open up to the other council people, then we'll find out what you.
Mr. Chair?
what you do. Yes. Is that
Thank
Mr.
you,
Smith?
Mr. Chair.
It's Counselor Smith speaking.
Okay, Mr.
Thank you,
Smith,
Mr.
you have the
Chair.
floor. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
right.
Thank each and every last one of my colleagues, and most importantly, thank the great people of East Cleveland for joining us tonight. According to the commission, we have until May 15th
to pass the mayor's second amended fiscal recovery plan. Certain members of council knew that time was short, so I want to thank the participants for calling this special meeting in an attempt to get out as much information in a timely manner as possible. Discussed at the last fiscal commission, we voted on a conditional approval of 2 plow trucks, 1 ambulance, and 1 multi-purpose truck. I believe that we all are in agreement that in order to serve the health interest, rights, and needs of the people, these items are very significant. I understand information, but that is why we are having this special meeting. I believe there's another meeting is a few weeks in between now and the time that we will actually be voting on this. Again, I respect any and all of my colleagues' suggestions and opinions on this. I myself would like to see this move forward for further discussion. Again, we would not be voting on it in a minimum of 2 weeks, which I believe would be May the 2nd, I believe, or the 12th, but it'll be right before
2
May
weeks is
15th, which
10th.
again,
It's the 10th.
May 10th, Mr. Brother Smith, okay?
Thank you, Councilwoman Dr. Pat Blahoviak. So again, thank everyone for joining us tonight in an attempt to get information out. Again, we have until May 15th is the deadline. Thank you.
Okay, is Charles with us? Charles?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. How you
Can
doing, Council President?
you speak on this, please? And then I'm gonna ask the other 2 council people where they stand. We got 2 council people who want to put in the committee, and we got 1 who want us to move forward. So let's hear from Charles. Charles, give us some perspective and answer all the questions related to 3422.
What questions are they to answer?
I'm opening it up. Dr. Blahoviak, Corrine Stevenson, Dr. Blahoviak.
Well, I sent some via email just before this started, and my statement, which I would like to read into the record, is, once again, a document received well under 24 hours before a meeting does not provide adequate time to review and identify questions. That being said, here are some preliminary questions and concerns. Do not take these as my final concerns. Number 1, the March 2022 finance report is not yet available on the city's website. If we are to be trusting of the data received, it should be complete, and that was not there. I asked for some information in January, and all of the meetings have been canceled. That is significant. I expect to have all of the finance data that I request before I vote on this. Some of the items are dated 2013 and 2014. Some of the items on the amendment. There needs to be clarification of how items dated 2013 and 2014 causes a change in the budget from before 2017 to after 2017. Many of the items listed have no amounts listed. Thus, it is not clear at all what their effect will be. And my other thing was, please be prepared to elucidate the details of all items labeled other. So that's my beginning. That is by no means anything resembling a final set of questions, because this is not an acceptable period of time.
Okay, Corrine Stevenson? Corinne?
Counselor Martin, how can I help you?
Okay, you have any questions you want to ask the finance director?
No, I don't, because my questions go back to December 28th, and he didn't come here prepared to answer that because this is not a finance committee meeting, and so therefore I cannot just jump from December 28th to this current time period. There was no notice to the council that there was going to be, or when there was the meeting for the fiscal commission was going to be held and where it was going to be held and all of that. That didn't occur. So without being able to have a finance committee meeting for 3 months now, I can't tell you where to begin because I don't know what's going on with this budget. And the fact that we have not received information that has been requested by the staff. The payment criteria for those contracts, the agreement that we set last year, that agreement is not being upheld.
Okay, Mary, you want to say something in reference to what she said?
I
Okay.
could.
Right.
So, good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being out tonight. I'd like to thank our council and council president for having this meeting. Now, I recognize at least one of the other counselors, Counselor Bohoviac, was on the fiscal commission meeting call last week. And I know that you're the newest counselor, so you may not be familiar with a lot of the nuances of municipal finance and how.
End the condescension, please. Just straight.
You can't interrupt him, please. You always do that. He's speaking now. You get a chance to speak again. Please do not interrupt him. Go
He's
ahead.
insulting me,
No,
and
no,
that is not
you
acceptable.
have to control yourself, please. Go
He
ahead,
needs to control himself.
Brandon.
Thank you, Council President.
Yeah.
Counselor Bohoviac, if you will remember, you were in my office before you were sworn in. I asked you then, and it was just a suggestion. Ask questions, seek information behind the information before you jump out in front of it, not understanding the realm of it. Being in fiscal emergency, there is such thing called a 5-year forecast. The 5-year forecast is what's updated on an annual basis. So when you ask those questions about something that's been in there since 2013 and 14, right? And when you ask some of the other questions, you would have to understand what the document is. And that would alleviate some of those questions. That's all I'm saying with that, right? Now,
Excuse me.
Miss Bohoviac, we told you at the last meeting, you can't have this political stuff on. Would you please cover it up, please, Nina? Thank you. Then you can continue. Thank you.
and then she just has another button up there.
You got another, you can continue now. Thank you.
Thank you. So, being at the fiscal commission meeting, one of the things you may not know is that we have to pass an annual updated fiscal recovery plan and an appropriations. If they are not passed in a timely manner, our expenditures can be reduced. When they asked us to do it, they gave us that time. They gave us a small window in which to get this passed. What they asked us to do is, because we're doing a lease to own, they're asking us to put the annual payments in the 5-year forecast, right? And to reflect those payments over the years, right? That's why we have to change the 5-year forecast. Now, if you can recall, this will be the second such change this year. The first change they asked us to do was in January, February. They asked us to update it based on the final rule from the Treasury, right? So we're just doing what they're asking. To say no to this or to send this to committee to kill it like you killed the grant for $50,000 to redo the water in Forest Hill Park is unreasonable. And it doesn't help the city, right? We're in fiscal emergency. We have to do a 5-year forecast. We have to update it. The fiscal commission asks us to update it to reflect the annual payments over the term of the lease to own. So it's not complicated at all. I hope that answers your questions. The fiscal recovery will be meeting. You can ask your questions of them at that meeting on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
I would like to respond to that. Since you asked me a question, I would like to remind you that I was on the school board for 12 years, and we had 5-year forecasts every year. So I understand the process of a 5-year forecast. I also understand that we were at that point in time in fiscal emergency for the school board. So I've been through that process. The process is not new to me. What is new is getting the information less than 24 hours before the meeting. It's going to that meeting and not being allowed to speak at that meeting. It's also that at that meeting, you discussed passing this as an emergency. Now, if there were any, and you asked that the time, whether the time might be extended, and they said no. That being said, I would expect that you would have all of your ducks in a row, that you would have all of the finance reports on the website, that you would have all of my questions that I've been asking for months, that you would make the finance director available to me to answer my questions, and that you would take seriously the questions that I have just presented and the one from Counselor Stevenson about the contract information, as well as the reason why you keep taking over the finance committee meetings and having special meetings. This is not the way to do things. If you wanted these passed, you should have provided the information.
I'm going to, Juanita Gotti, how are you with this 3422?
Well, right now, I'm just saying, you know, I'm not over a financial planner in the supervision, but I do know that a lot of this stuff do have to get passed, and I'm for whatever majority do.
Okay, where I'm at is we don't need to hold this up. And one reason why I was amenable to this, because we got 2 weeks. Any unreadiness, we'll have it taken care of within 2 weeks. Any questions, any emails, you need to send the mayor. I know you sent me email, someone sent an email today about the neighborhood advisory committees, but that goes through the mayor, not through us. But anyway, we got 2 weeks to get all these, hopefully get most of these questions answered. We're not gonna hold up. We have a tendency to delay stuff when a lot of this can be answered. So
Can I have one last word?
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair,
okay, hold a second, Brother Smith.
Mr.
I'm gonna, hold it, Brother Smith. I'm gonna recognize the mayor, then you next. Go ahead.
So what I wanted to, of importance,
Okay.
councilors, is that, remember, the ladder truck was set for a price increase. Now, many of you have been watching the news, you know interest rates have gone up. If we don't get this done, the interest rate will go up, and it will cost us additional money, upwards of $60,000 or more for the lease to own of equipment that's needed. 3 salt trucks and a pumper for the fire. So that's this, right? There's nothing new with the 5-year forecast or the appropriations. They're just updated, not new. Thank you, Councilor Smith and
Okay.
Council President.
Okay, now,
Thank
Brother
you. Mr. Chair,
Smith, it's yours now. Go ahead, Brother Smith.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be real brief. I do want to thank Dr. Pat because she is correct. I want to make sure that all of my colleagues and the mayor and the public are aware that this would definitely have to be passed as an emergency at the next meeting. All right. Thank you.
Well,
Passed or failed. My apologies, passed or failed, but voted on as an emergency.
well, I think one reason why we're meeting today, so we don't have to go that emergency route. We got the first reading this time, and then second reading, we can vote on it. This is a first read. Okay, so that frees us up.
Gotcha.
You got it? Okay. I also wanted to say
Gotcha.
that the comments about 2013, 2014, pass the annual up, is needed updated. The finance report, all of that. We don't need to be delaying this. That's why I said we need to have a special meeting. And that's why we're having the meeting today. So anyone that has any unreadiness, have specific
You're going
questions.
to answer any of the questions that
You
were
haven't
asked.
been recognized. You have not been recognized. You're always interrupting. Nobody interrupts you, but you interrupt all the time. Please let
You
me.
interrupted me in my committee meeting, and when I told you to stop, you ran away. You left the meeting.
If you keep disrespecting this disposition, I will have you cut off. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, you got me back on? So, objectively and fairly, we got 2 weeks now to get all this thing. Hopefully the questions that you have, the questions that Ms. Stevenson have, get that out of the way. So when we come on, what's the 5th to the 15th, we're gonna vote on this thing. We're gonna vote up or vote it down. We're not gonna cost the city any money like we have done with losing grants and stuff. We're not going down that road no more. We're not going there. We're gonna do what we need to do, okay? So it'll be the 10th is when we're gonna vote on this. So it's all about the vote. So if you have these pressing questions, they need to be, get them to the mayor, okay? All right? Anybody, not just you, Patricia Blovak, but all the other council people. But we're not gonna, I watched us just hold stuff up. We blowing money, we're losing grants. We're not going down that road anymore. Okay, so ultimately, no matter what I say, it boils down to the vote of the council. Okay, so you got 2 weeks to get your questions answered. If they're not answered right, let me know. I'll come to the mayor and see what's going on. But you got to get these questions answered. But we're not gonna hold this up. We're not gonna cost the city $60,000 because we procrastinating. We're not going down that road. We're not going there. Now, that's
Counselor
where
Stevenson
I'm
has
at.
her hand raised, sir.
Okay, I can't see Stevenson from
Oh,
where I'm
she's
at.
got her hand raised.
Okay, well, she can speak now. Go, Ms. Stevenson, go ahead.
Well, you can say whatever you want, but I take offense to your statement and I take offense to the mayor's statement. Nobody is holding up anything. I have not heard anybody say that they were going to hold up anything. As the chairperson of the finance committee, you are interfering in the process that allows the finance committee to seat a meeting and hear what is planned for the money that is in this plan. You've done that since December 28th. Therefore, the finance committee chair has no knowledge of what is in any of those plans that have been submitted because I have not had the opportunity. The committee has not had the opportunity to hear what's in those plans. And for you and the mayor to sit there and talk about somebody holding up something when you don't even acknowledge the fact that you didn't even have the decency, nor did you advise the staff to call me on any of those occasions and tell me what you plan to do. So for you to come off like you are saving the world or doing some grand thing, you're out of order, and so is the mayor, because you don't have the right to assume anything on my behalf.
In perspective, A majority.
There is no perspective with
I
you.
am gonna get the
That's been
perspective where you-
demonstrated the last December 28th, you took over my meeting. You took over my meeting again last month, and you've taken over my meeting again this month. There's no perspective with you.
of council carries the day.
You need to
Overrules
use
the
words
committee
that you
and
are true
all
to,
that.
sir, because you're not
So
true to very much of anything.
Majority of council, Kareem Stevenson
This
wants
don't
thing to
have
go
anything to
forward.
do with a majority of council. This has the fact that you interfere in my finance committee obligations. This is not about the full committee. No full committee commits of 5. A committee commits of 3. You are interfering, sir. You don't even sit on that committee, and you're interfering in the processes.
We haven't had a committee meeting.
Because you won't let me
and-
have a
and-
committee
and-
meeting
and
because
you
you keep
held-
interfering,
and you-
changing the dates, doing whatever you want to do, however you feel.
Holding up legislation, we're gonna move forward, okay? You may not like it, but we're gonna move forward. You got 2 weeks to get your questions answered.
We don't have 2 weeks. We ask questions of the mayor. He does not answer. He does not respond. He does not reply. His staff does not reply. Nathaniel Martin, you need to come off of your high horse and come down here to reality with the rest of us. You know he does not respond, and I don't know why you sit there trying to act like he does something that he does not do. You do not respond either, and nor does the staff in the office. So don't come at me like I'm doing some injustice to this process when you will not allow the process to unfold when it comes to my committee, sir. Every other committee person is allowed to operate in a manner that is supposed to be revealed by the charter. When it comes to me, you interfere consistently.
Well, I don't agree with that, but that's your opinion.
You don't have to agree. You don't have the ability to agree, just like you don't have the ability to discern, sir.
Don't fall out your chair. Just take it easy. Charles, would you please intercede in this situation right now, please?
Charles can't help you. You on your own. Charles has nothing to do with this, sir. You are the one that is interfering in my process, not Charles. It's you. And so don't try to bring Charles into it now.
Okay.
Well, I will.
What you hide
Councilman
behind
Martin.
Charles for? You jumped out there.
She's losing it. She's losing it.
I'm not losing anything. You're simply telling you what the facts are. Those are the facts, and you cannot handle when the facts are presented to you.
Councilman Martin, if I may speak
Yes, you
for
may.
a second.
Help us. I'm trying to keep my emotions together here.
Well, when speaking of the finance committee meetings, and I believe Councilor Bihoviak even just in the chat confirmed what I already said, was saying is that these meetings have been canceled. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how you who have interfered when the meetings some meetings were scheduled and then they were canceled a day or on the same day throughout this year. So I don't know why they all been canceled. I think we may have one. I think the clerk can verify how many finance committee meetings were actually held this year. To really,
And the
I guess,
clerk
set
can
the
also
record straight.
verify why they weren't held.
You haven't been recognized. Now you and Blahovic.
I don't need to be
Yes, you do.
recognized. You haven't been recognized to steal my finance
out here.
but you do it anyway.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna mute you out. Okay, all right.
Do whatever you think you can, sir.
And I
Whatever.
will. No, I can't. I will. If you're not
Does not
respectful,
matter to me
and
because you are not playing fair anyway. So I anticipate and expect anything from you.
Well, you don't expect anything from me anyway. Go ahead. All right. You canceled meetings with.
I have not canceled a meeting this year. You interfered starting December 28th, so you can go head on with that tale. You telling a tale, and you can go head on with that. So nothing.
Where we're at right now, because we need to get to the other piece of legislation is,
Hand is up.
I see your hand up. Okay, go ahead. And this is the last comment on this, and then we're gonna move to the next. And then I'm gonna poll the council whether we so we can vote on this. Okay.
It's illegal for you to poll the council, sir. You need to follow the charter.
Wait, hold on 1 second. This is a committee meeting. This is a special council meeting, and this is the first reading, so we don't have to do anything with it. But we are going to deal with this on the 10th. I'm telling you this right now. Okay. From what I'm feeling from the other council people, we have the 3 votes to move this thing forward. Okay. So I don't have to argue with you two ladies. I have to go down that route. You're negative enough as it is. And I've tolerated from day one, from both of you.
I know you ain't calling nobody negative.
Okay, so from what I'm picking up, and then I'll see you, Bro Beck. I know you got something to say. Majority of the council wants this thing to move. Okay, so I'm going to have one more comment from Bro Beck, then we're going to the next legislature. Go ahead, Patricia Bro Beck.
One is that Charles stated that I was agreeing with him, and let me make it perfectly clear, I was not. Charles and the mayor canceled meetings with me. I have an email from you from January saying that you were canceling a meeting, so do not say that you were not. The other is I have asked questions and I expect them to be answered. It is my right to expect that the administration will answer my questions in a meeting before they expect me to vote on something that I still have questions on. So I don't understand why you haven't started answering my questions.
Have you?
May I respond to that?
Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead. Go ahead, Charles.
So, Councilor Bihoviak, the questions you asked me early in the year, in one of the questions, it was really just asking about abbreviations. And I answered that question because you didn't give me any particular abbreviations that you just said I have questions about abbreviations in the financial report. It's very, very vague question, but I tried my best to answer the best I could with just, and so I provided that answer. Outside of this new email that you sent today with some new questions, I'm somewhat puzzled of what questions that haven't been answered, excluding the ones today that I haven't answered. Meeting with me and the mayor, I can't control that. You know the mayor's protocol, so I'm not.
So you're saying that you
canceling
can never answer my questions, is that correct?
I've answered the questions you asked in the email. Not today's questions, but the questions you asked prior.
No,
I
you
can-
know that I responded to that, and we had one meeting that was scheduled that you canceled at the last minute. We had another meeting that was scheduled that the mayor insisted on being present. It was scheduled you and me, and I don't remember who else was supposed to be there, which made no sense to me. And I sat out in the hallway waiting, and 20 minutes after it was supposed to start, the mayor came out and said, no, I can't talk to you. That meeting was canceled, and I'm not allowed to talk to you except in a committee meeting. Which
Unfortunately,
I
council,
think
you have to talk to the
is-
mayor about that.
you are here today as part of the administration. You are not here as a personal representative of anything. You are here as a representative of the mayor and the administration, even though, as you're aware, you have never been approved by council as finance director, and therefore you are not officially a finance director for the city of East Cleveland. However, I asked some fairly basic questions and you could start to answer them. They're here on the email. You have a copy of them. You could start there.
Charles, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Would you do me a favor and with the permission of the mayor, would you answer these questions? So when we vote on this thing on the 10th, we're gonna vote it up or vote it down or whatever the case. Would you answer her questions? And then I would check with the mayor to make sure the questions were answered. So there's no impediment from us moving forward. Okay? So would you do that?
Just for clarification, are these questions the only questions outside of any new ones? Is there any old questions that haven't been answered? Or are
There
these
are
the questions?
a ton of old ones, but start with what I have here, which is one that you sent us.
The March financial report?
When will the finance report be on the website? Will that happen in time so that we can review that as part
Yes,
of
it will.
of this?
Yes.
And will we be able to, will I be able to sit with you and go through my list of questions? But the other thing is, there are numerous items on this that are simply labeled as other. There needs to be
I
an
think council, if I can, I'm sorry to interject. Only reason I'm interjecting because Councilor Behovia, that question that you asked has been asked several times since I've been the finance director, and I will hope that the counselors that are present should be able to assist you in, because I've answered that question.
It's not
multiple
their
times.
responsibility.
No, it's not.
to
I'm not saying it is.
It's your
I'm not saying it is.
responsibility, and I expect you to make some pretense at least of answering questions when they're asked.
I got a question. I got a statement.
Okay, Ms. Blohoviak, Charles, please try to accommodate on
Yes.
this other the best you can.
I
And,
got you. Absolutely.
and send a copy to the mayor so I can make sure, so when we meet on the 10th, I can say, well, this has been responded to. I'm gonna ask the mayor to, he has his hand up. Go ahead, Mayor.
So-
Okay.
So that we're all clear,
Uh-huh.
Charles, Council President, Counselor that are on the line. Charles, when you go to answer
Yes.
questions, kindly, if the question is in the document, say that. Don't spend a lot of time answering questions that are in the document. We all remember that dreadful finance meeting where the then council president that was over the finance asked questions, and all she had to do was read the 5-year forecast. She hadn't even read it. She asking questions, and Charles, you're like, okay, refer to section 20, refer to section 40, refer to this, read that. Charles, don't, all she wants to do is suck up time. Do not spend a ton of time answering these questions. I don't know if you're a doctor or not, right? Because you never practiced up here. But if you consider yourself a doctor, certainly you know how to look up acronyms on the internet. No one's going to sit around and tell you that AR means accounts receivable. I'm not going to do that like you're a 2-year-old. And I said it.
You don't have no other choice. He's the finance director of the city. The
Okay,
council has the right to ask questions.
Counselor Martin,
Yeah,
Counselor Stevenson has her hand raised.
No, you know what? We spent enough on this. I've had Provec speak 3 or 4 times. Stevenson speak 2 or 3 times. Okay, we're moving forward. This is the first week. We're going to the next piece of legislation. Okay. Read ordinance.
You can't boss the council like that, Mark.
Right?
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, you are out of order. You do not have the right to do what you are doing.
I
You
do
don't
have
have
the
the
right.
right
That's correct.
I do have the right.
silence the
We
council
spent-
members. No, you do
You
not.
did not.
You do not have the right to silence these council members. Everybody on this council has a right to speak, sir. I don't know what you think you're doing, but we're gonna see if we can't get some votes up and get you on up out of here.
Please, please. Please, I hope you do that. Find out that people love Mark. Okay. All right, let's go to the next piece of legislation. Go ahead. Tracy,
Yeah.
go to the next piece of legislation, because we're not going, we spent a half an hour on this. Go to the next
Okay.
one.
Hold
It
on
don't
one second.
matter how much time we spend on it. You the one called the meeting.
Okay, ordinance number 3522, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 8821 to make appropriations of various funds for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of East Cleveland for the period between January 1st, 2022 ending December 31st, 2022. Requested by Finance Department, sponsored by Corinne Stevenson. This is a first read.
Okay, this is also sponsored by Corinne Stevenson. What is your pleasure, Ms. Stevenson? What is your pleasure? I'm gonna say it the third time we're gonna move. Corinne Stevenson, what is your pleasure? Okay, Charles, you want to say something about this?
Awful. This meeting is
Yes.
a
Go ahead.
shit show. Please.
Who is that? Who would say something like that publicly? Who said that? Who said that?
It was somebody that's just showing up his iPhone. I muted them.
Okay, go ahead. 3522. Finance Director, you have anything to say about this?
So, yeah, so this is in tandem with the 5-year forecast. As the fiscal commission, if you recall, requested that the city, instead of doing our reappropriations as we've done in the past around September and one at the end of
Charles, you're muted. Charles, your microphone's muted.
Can you reach him? Can you reach him, man? Can you unmute?
No, it's him. It's him.
All right.
Nobody, there he goes.
Is it on now?
Charles is
Can you
on
hear
now.
me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now. We didn't hear you for about 3 minutes.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
sorry. So, if you recall, the fiscal commission requested that the city, instead of doing a reappropriations, we normally do in September at the end of the year, they asked the city to do it earlier and do reappropriations around June. And so that's just what we're attempting to do here. We're doing the reappropriations
Okay, do you want
earlier.
to, would you share with this council any adjustments or changes that they need to know that you think is very important?
The biggest adjustment is money going to transfer from the general fund to the permanent improvement fund of $1.4 million.
Okay.
And that adjustment is based upon a lot of the improvements that's going around in the city, including streets, elevator, obviously rehab. And so that is the biggest adjustment. There's small adjustments as far as personnel that we brought in and personnel we haven't brought in that we appropriated for that we haven't hired yet. But mainly the biggest, and that adjustment at 1.4 I'm talking about is you'll see it on the 5-year forecast as 2.4. And the reason you see 2.4 because we already transferred $1 million out of the general fund to the PI fund already. And so we'll need to transfer another 1.4 to make sure we have enough money to do all these capital improvements around the city hall and other facilities, and even doing some streets. So again, the purpose of you got the reappropriation now because the fiscal commission wanted the city to do one earlier than later.
Okay. I'll open it up for any more questions. This again is the first read. Again, not to be redundant, you have 2 weeks to get your questions to, and I'm thanking the mayor for having the finance director to respond to these questions. I hope you put them in writing, etc., because I'm going to look at them too. So when we meet on the 10th, you can't say, well, my question wasn't answered, this wasn't done, whatever the case may be. Okay, I see Willa Emmons. Ms. Emmons, you have the floor.
Yes, it needs to have a sponsor. The resolution on the table is not really on the table. It needs to have a sponsor. Councilor Stevenson is not sponsoring it, so whoever's this.
I'll sponsor.
You can't.
I'll sponsor, okay?
Okay, so her name has to be, removed at a later time.
The first one too, she didn't respond to the
Just sponsor both of them.
3422. I respond to both of them.
Well,
34.
Counselor Gowdy can also, because she is on the finance committee, or even Counselor Bohoviac.
Yes.
Yes, Gowdy says she will sponsor 3422, and I'll sponsor 3522. Okay?
Okay.
For the record.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, Law Director, that needs to be shared with us?
Not at this time.
Okay, now, there's nothing else we really need to say about this. I ask the council, with all humility, get your questions in, okay? Well, we're gonna vote on this thing May 10th, okay? We're gonna vote on it. I don't want us to cost the city unnecessary money. I don't want us to blow grant money that we've done. That is coming to an end. So get your questions in, okay? And ultimately, no matter what is said, it all boils down to a vote. And that vote will take place May 10th, okay? So does anyone else have anything else to say before I have Tracy to move the agenda? Anyone else have anything else to say? Anyone else have anything else to say? One more time. Anyone else have anything else to say? Tracy, let's move on. I'm gone now. Let's move on.
Okay, do we have any other counselors that want to
There are
co-sponsor these?
questions, and I said there was questions.
I asked the question 3 times and you didn't raise your hand. I gave you 3 times to respond, Ms. Bloviak. I'm fair. Let's move on, okay?
Wait, Counselor Martin, are there any other counselors that want to co-sponsor these two?
Yeah, any other council person want to co-sponsor this? Anyone else?
Oh, gee.
Who is that?
Oh, man, he's talking.
Okay, he has been recognized. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, we'll go with what we got. Okay. Tracy?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, remarks and requests of the public, 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Oh, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Omaze.
Number one, and I'm just going to say this and say it, and I hope everyone is listening and listening very attentively. Number one, the council does not have to get permission from no mayor or no one else to speak to the law director. Finance director. The finance director is the finance director for the city, not for Brandon King or the council. He is the finance director for the city. And any council wish to ask questions in reference to the finances, he must answer them because they are the ones that approved his bond and et cetera. He is the finance director. Same with the law director. Now, the law director, he'll advise you on reference to the sponsor I don't know whether the person is mute or whether that council is gone. You said it was just on first reading. So there's no, I mean, if her name is down there as a sponsor, so she's still a sponsor until it come before the council. And then you act on it. And then if she does not sponsor, then you move on. Not the law director ill advising you. Everybody should stay in their lane and know what how to operate a meeting. And that's totally wrong. Ill advising you. And the council does have a right to ask questions, whether it's, and they don't have to put it in writing or whatever. They know not kids. They are elected officials of the city. They represent the city. And I have never encountered stuff that's going on now. I have never in my during my tenure on council, and even before I was on council, this kind of mess. It doesn't make any sense. And you are the president of the council, and I did hear you ask, were there anyone else either wanted to sponsor this? But Martin, don't be ill-advised. You have been there long enough to know that if something is on first read or had not come before the council, because you really don't deal with things on the first read. You just move on. And they have some concerns or whatever. If she's, whoever is the sponsor of the legislation, that person have not, don't tell me about no 3 minutes. Everybody has time limit. So if you're gonna be fair, we are the
5 minutes. So wrap it. I'm gonna give you a minute to wrap it up.
Okay, next. Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, is Brother Smith, do you have any comments?
Well, no, we're still at the public.
Yeah, we're still on the public. Anybody else from the public? I'm sorry.
Anybody from the public have any
Anybody from
comments?
the public? Okay, Don Jones, go ahead, Don Jones.
Yes, I had a question regarding the fiscal audit. And I wanted to know, were the judgments against the city included in the audit? The audit only covers 2018 and 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And they submitted it in 2021.
Okay.
So where's the rest of it should have been up to 2021 since they submitted it last year, but 2020 was not included in there. The state audit, and 2021 was not included in there. It only goes up to 2018, 2019. So what about the $20 million that the city lost, and the $825,000 that was supposed to be paid by the city? Is that on a financial plan? What's happening with that? And if it is in the audit, where is it?
All right.
That's my first question.
Okay. Charles, did you hear that question?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's go to the second question. And I like for you to.
Okay, answer the first question first.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go to the next question, Don.
Oh, I thought he said he wanted to answer it.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait,
Answer them.
If we get them all out,
Yeah.
we can answer it.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's go to the second question. Go
Okay,
ahead.
the second question.
Oh, no. Okay, well, hold it. You gotta hold
Wait a
it.
minute, Ms. Hemmons. We have Mr. Rashid that also has his hand up.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my second question is the $120,000 for the furniture. What fund is that coming from?
What furniture are you talking about?
The furniture that he ordered through, what's the company? He just did it last month.
You mean for to go in the council office?
Yes.
Okay, we'll respond to that. Okay. With that, let's go to the first question and respond to the second one. I can't remember the
Oh,
corporation.
wait, we have to go to
I
the,
can't hear what you're saying, I'm sorry.
Yes, Tracy.
okay, Mr. Zaki is next. All questions are answered
Okay, right.
after.
Rashid, and then we answer all the questions. Okay, go to Rashid. Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes,
Go
sir. I
ahead.
can hear you.
Go ahead.
The first question I have is, are the questions that we can present at this moment only on agenda items only?
No,
No, this
anything.
is anything.
Anything
Okay.
at this point, Rashid. Anything at
Okay.
this.
Well,
Okay.
good evening, Council President, Council members. and the mayor's office. I just wanted to let you know on behalf of the East Cleveland Public Library that we have submitted all the documents necessary and have requested from the city regarding the acquisition of the land behind the library. And I'm just wanted to confirm that with you. We've sent copies to the Miss Wallace this morning. She actually got the hard copy as well as an electronic copy. And then we distributed copies to every council member electronically, and you should get a personal delivery of the hard copies sometime. If you didn't receive them today, you'll probably receive them tomorrow, but we just wanted to let you know and put it on the record that we have provided all the documentation necessary.
Thank you, and I can safely say, and I hope that we'll be voting on this before May is over. We're gonna vote on the library situation before the end of May. It'll be voted on.
Thank you
So,
very much, sir.
Okay, all right.
Is there any
brother-
other?
No, anybody else from the public, Tracy?
I'm looking. I don't see anybody else's hand up. Miss Hemmons
Okay.
has her hand up.
Okay, let's hear with Ms. Hemmons.
Miss Hemmons?
Willa Hemmons?
Oh, okay, you're back to me?
Yes.
Okay, with regard to the judgments, everything that legally we have to pay, we have paid. There's some questions in terms of the procedural aspects of the purported judgments that are still being answered. As soon as we get those questions answered, one of them is at the Ohio Supreme Court now. And the briefs are due in May, and they will probably have some responses to us. With, they'll probably have some responses to us when they get through, possibly with the other matters. As you know, they're very tied up with redistricting now. So as soon as we have to expend any funds and the amount of those funds as dictated by the Ohio Supreme Court, I will let council know. And I've told the auditors that they have the case law, they have the procedural rules and regulations in the case study that I present regularly to city council. Also, I don't know anything about an $825,000 judgment that's against us. There is a $625,000 judgment that is at this point gone stale. If, for instance, if you do not execute on a judgment within 5 years, it goes stale and becomes uncollectible. So at this point, we don't have any outstanding direct liability with reference to the city. Okay, and as soon as we do, we will come to council to advise them as to that fact, and then the funds, if and when they do become, due and payable, will be expended.
Thank you very much. Now, Charles, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would you respond to Don Jones' 2 questions, please? So we can move on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so the 2020 financials are being almost complete. The auditors are with people, COVID, and they're losing staff. We lost staff. The financial statements have just not been completed. So once they complete it, 2020 will be posted on the website like normal. 2021 will not be posted at this time because 2021 just ended. We typically would have 2021 completed around June. That is the state's requirement. We may not be able to meet that requirement this year. We will get an extension. As far as the adjustments that you referenced and the Director Hemmons already talked about, the auditors know about them, and they do put it. They put language, they put footnotes on the financial statements. Where they are on the 2019 financial statements, I'm not quite sure the page number, but they are on there. I would have you look towards the back of the 2019, towards the end, where they have a section talking about litigations and potential liabilities. So they are noted in the financial statements. They may not be a dollar amount based upon what Director Hemmings just mentioned, but they are noted on even the 2019 financial statement.
Okay.
The second question, I'm sorry, what was the
What
second
was your
question?
second question, Ms. Jones?
The furniture.
The furniture.
Oh,
She wants to know the corporation.
No, I want to know the
The
account.
name.
Yeah, I want to know what account it's coming from. Is it coming from the general account or is it coming from the ARP account?
It's coming from a special, it was a grant. It was written by the mayor. You want to respond to
I
that?
don't think it was a grant. Was it?
Okay, wasn't it a
Charles,
grant?
Charles, go ahead and tell him, please.
Tell them, please.
it
All right.
will that be paid out of the
General.
permanent improvement fund?
Permanent improvement fund.
So that's
Okay.
ARP money?
What?
That's not
No,
the
it's not.
That's-
No,
No.
Black money.
permanent
No.
improvement money is permanent improvement. So the fiscal recovery plan has $2.4 million being transferred out of the general fund to the permanent improvement fund to support purchases like the furniture.
Okay. Okay, that covers it. Now I'm going to go to the council people. Well, go to the mayor first. Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Council President.
All right.
Try to make this brief. So I'd like to thank Charles. I'd like to thank Willa, the law director, finance director, respectively, for their answers. I'd like to thank everyone for being on this call tonight. I'd like to thank council for having this special meeting. Sure got a little testy, but we're trying to move this city forward, and we all get a little emotional and passionate about that. One of the things I will clap about, Pat Charles and the finance department on their back, I believe it was 2014, when I took office, the financial statements that had not been reconciled for the year. Since I've been the mayor, since Charles has taken over, we have done 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We've cleaned up all those years and they're on the web. So as you know, they're always a year behind. When you pay your property taxes, they're a year behind. So that's why you won't see.
Well, she just said it's in
21 for a
court.
while. So,
Right, she did.
yeah, so again, thank you all for being on here. Look forward to moving this forward. And thank the council president,
Thank you.
council vice
Now
president.
I'm
Unless
going
there's
to
any
go.
questions or concerns.
Okay, any questions for the mayor?
No, for me.
All right, well, for me, okay, let's go to the council people. We'll start with Ernest Smith. Go ahead, Brother Smith. Can you hear me, Brother Smith?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
Dr. Pat, Councilwoman Dr. Pat, Councilwoman Gowdy, Councilwoman Stevenson, Mr. President,
All right.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Director Charles, Madam Law Director, Ms. Hemmings. I really want to thank you all. Most importantly, I really want to thank the people of East Cleveland for joining us tonight to check on your health, interests, rights, and needs. Please join us May 10th at the next regular city council meeting. As you see from tonight, it is very, very, very important. Thank you all and have a blessed night. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Dr. Patricia Blohoviak.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time to speak. You may recall I've sent to some of you a letter that I found online. There was a letter from the auditor to the state legislature, sent to Mr. Huff and Mr. Cupp and Mr. Hoffman, at any rate. And it addressed all of the cities that were in fiscal emergency. And there was only one section on East Cleveland. Most of it referred to the other cities, but I was concerned. It did mention that the mayor had spent money that had not been appropriated, and they were concerned about that. And the other thing that they stated was that we are not likely to get out of fiscal emergency in the near future. And I found that to be of concern. Needless to say, I was also concerned about the Fiscal Oversight Committee meeting and the assumption that a plan, a recovery plan, amended recovery plan that we had not yet received would be passed as an emergency, even though we have difficulty obtaining the answers to questions that we have. Now, I don't expect that the answers will come at some other time in some other place. I expect that if I ask a question, that most of my questions will be something that someone who was a legitimate finance director, unlike ours who has not been approved by council, but a legitimate finance director would be able to answer the questions. And I am very concerned that that questions are not being answered. I'm also concerned that things are, I would like to say, somewhat deceptive in the way things are answered, in the way the mayor makes assumptions which are incorrect about my knowledge of 5-year forecasts, which I have dealt with on a regular basis, on concerns about abbreviations. Yes, there are abbreviations that everybody knows if you've gone through some of these. And there are some that relate to companies and contracts that I have not yet seen, and I expect those to be clarified. Thank you.
Thank you. Corinne Stevenson. Is she still with us, or maybe she's left? Corinne?
Online.
Would you allow me to speak whether I'm here? My concern this evening is the attitude in the room, okay? The finance committee is not the finance committee. It is the president's personal toy
Go
to
ahead.
do with as he feels he can. For the last 3 months, like I said, I have not been allowed to have a meeting. He interjects, he moves the meetings, he moves the meeting time. If I can't be there, that's fine with him. Too bad. Don't come. And I cannot support something that I don't have any knowledge of. I haven't, like Councilor Bahoviak stated earlier, we just received this document today and we come into a meeting this evening. We don't know what's in the document and we're supposed to agree to some passage of, or some whatever, I don't know what the president is calling it, but it's not proper protocol when it comes to parliamentary procedure or in compliance with Robert's Rules of Orders that I know of anywhere. I don't want to belabor things that come before this council, but it is very difficult to get information out of the administration. And it is very difficult for the staff to get information when we request information through the staff. I understand that. However, to be totally ignored and treated differently from my other colleagues is not acceptable by this president or the mayor of this city. And that is what is going on now, that certain members of this council are being singled out and attacked personally and otherwise by several members of this council and the administration. This is not the first occurrence of this. This seems to be an ongoing situation where men seem to think that they can, I guess, go back to the 1940s and just berate and beat women down. But I'm not such that I'm going to allow that to happen. And so I would ask that you all curb your enthusiasm with that so that we can all get along and get the business done that needs to be done for this city. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna let Patricia Blowback have the last comment. Yeah, I mean,
After her.
Counselor Gowdy.
Juanita Gowdy. Well, I'm going to say this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say that somebody called and asked me. She said that some of the women in there they hate men. They hate men. Men, but men. I am a humble guy. I try to be fair. I'm not a perfect person. I try to be fair. And my role is to move the city forward. And I'm not going to let anyone, and I say that prayerfully, stop us from moving forward. We've got business to take care of. We got some financial situations going to face us in the next 2 or 3 years. We need developers in here to build houses so we can increase our tax base. I don't take none of this thing personal. That's why I've done it for almost 30 years, because I don't take it personal. This is a business. We're running a $25 to $30 million corporation. Okay? So we've got to get the work done. We've got to get these grants approved. We've got to move forward. I walk in this city hall and I'm I see. This place is gonna look beautiful in the next 2 months. We're doing positive things, but some people say, well, you got people that all they do is negative. See, that's unacceptable to them. I'll pray for them so we can move forward. I've spoken. Thank you. Okay, Juanita Gowdy.
Well, we're gonna move forward, right?
Right.
You heard every word that you said. I heard every word that you said.
Okay.
Did you hear every word that you said?
I think so.
I'm looking forward to.
Hold on for a second. You got the thing. Oh, Lord.
What you
Go back to
doing?
computer. Where's that at?
Computer, man,
that
on
is
the
there?
mic,
On the mouse, down at the bottom.
right.
Down at the bottom. Right there. Oh, that's not it. Oh, yeah.
Interviews.
Shoot, you didn't check the computer. Oh, man.
You got it?
One more source. There it is, PC, right up there, PC. PC, good.
Okay,
sorry
we're
about
back.
that,
Sorry
ladies
about
and
that.
Gentlemen,
They screamed and scared me.
I tell you, we got some great things coming into the city. I do chair contracts and property. Hope that the library go ahead on. I am so glad to hear good news from y'all today. Keep moving forward to help our city. And we also have other people that want sidelights. And my contract property meeting will be May 10th at 6:30. And I'm looking forward to y'all to come out and support me. And also, today is an exciting day because I had good news. William Johnson as who? Wednesday at 4:30, we are going to give him a street name, and it's going to be on nose. We looking forward to giving Miss. We looking.
Hold it, Brother Smith.
We don't even want. One of the council members.
We can't see Ms. Gowdy.
And one of the council members do know about it. And we inviting everybody, even in his Ward 3. It's gonna be at Nose Street on the corner. We have people, all the council members is invited. I thank the mayor and his staff for working so hard to get this together. And I'm looking forward to interact with William Johnson on his day, you know. And also, we have we also have Miss Clifton. She's going to get a garden. Her family members, they would love to give her a garden, and I'm looking forward to giving them a garden, their heart desire, working together to make the city move forward. That's where I'm at. All this bittering and going back and forth and arguing and all, helping our city economy. And we have work to do in City Hall, as well as our streets, potholes and everything. We have bigger fishes to fry instead of going back and forth. Over to each and every one of you tomorrow to come out Wednesday at 4:30 and let's celebrate William Johnson. Yes, and I in my contract, and this is coming out of my and my contractors will be there to put up the sign. Everybody is welcome, Mayor. If you ain't doing nothing, you gonna come. Say it, Mayor.
If I'm not doing nothing, I'm gonna come.
Okay, we want you to come.
What
okay?
time is this tomorrow?
4:30. And we want Councilor Martin to be there.
Mr. Chair,
There and
Okay, this is the first I'm hearing of it, but go ahead, Ernest Smith, go ahead.
So
Mr. Chair, as you just said, this is the first of-
Okay.
so,
I was not finished.
Okay, yes.
Go ahead. As
My
long as we
apologies.
work together, and I am so happy that this celebration is coming along because this young man is young, and we always celebrate the dead. Why can't we celebrate the living? You know, and I'm looking forward to do
Ed Parker?
Ed Parker, and Judge
Right up the
Keena,
street
yeah.
from you, huh?
Yeah, in my ward too.
Right.
So I'm doing something to give back to our young people, our community, and so people can be recognized. And I just want to thank each and every one for coming out tomorrow. Get ready. It's at 4:30.
Okay, Brother Smith, you have the floor now.
Thank you. I want to thank Councilwoman Gowdy for her enthusiasm. I want everyone to listen to me real clear. And this is, I'm pretty sure we all sorry that you just missed the personnel and appointments meeting, Councilwoman Gowdy. As the president just stated, he didn't know about this. I didn't know about this. The deputy clerk was supposed to put a squash on this 2 weeks ago. You can have up on the pole. It wasn't even ordered through the right policy and procedure. That street night, listen, 1 year ago, let me repeat this, and I want everyone to hear me real clear. I'm not for this politicking, all this politicking. I thought we was trying to move forward and work together. About 1 year ago, I came up with the idea to get some of these slave names off of these signs and honor, yes, some living, some past, but honor people who have put in years of contribution in the city of East Cleveland. That first one was Minister Helen Hubbard that I brought in front of council. And that all of council agreed to rename Allegheny Circle into Minister Helen Hubbard. Since then, as I stated in the committee meeting, our young deputy clerk, I just say, moving a little too fast, mistakes happen. He's apologized. I don't know what's going on you all's end. The deputy clerk has apologized. We just had a full meeting of it. That's not happening. That street, I've talked to the family of the Cliftons. That's my ward, with all due respect. My ward, my idea. That's the deputy clerk that he made a mistake, admitted he made a mistake. I called them Pooh face to face, man to man, and told him that it's not happening 2 weeks ago. what's been going on between now and then, the president has no knowledge of it. I have no knowledge of it. No, I believe none of the colleagues on council have knowledge of it. We all know Miss.
Dolly, please.
Because I couldn't even.
I can't even hear you.
Miss Clifton. We all know Miss Clifton is an East Cleveland legend. And when I came up with this idea 1 year ago, the idea was not just to slang signs like they hotcakes. So listen, I thank you for trying to do a great thing and acknowledge that young man. That young man needs more work to be put in, frankly, to get a street name. And I'm pretty sure that the majority of
What happened?
Counselor Smith, you froze for a minute.
Listen, I'm not here to play games, period. That idea is not to disrespect the many elders and the many people living and passed away who have put in work to save, and I mean save the city of East Cleveland. So just so the people can know, she had to get her people to try to put the sign up, because when you go around the policy and procedure, that what happened. So no one in the administration is going to put the sign up. The sign is going to be put up illegally if it goes up.
Don't go back and forth with him.
Thank you, Mr. President. I can't even hear her. I'm talking to the people of East Cleveland who I see shaking their head yes. So I thank you, Mr. President. Let's do things the correct way. When we changed Allegheny Circle, I was transparent and I brought it in front of the council. Period. I don't like waking up, seeing things happening in my ward that the people elected me to look after. Period. It's not happening.
On a dirty job.
Okay, on that note, I think we've.
You sound like you were.
Recognize the meeting is adjourned. We're not gonna go back and forth. Meeting is adjourned.
Listen, 9 times out of 10, he's so emotional because he didn't think of it. No, he's not. You are too, Mark.
I'm not emotional.
9 times out of 10, he's so emotional.
Nobody knew about this. I didn't know about it.
Ernest Smith knew about it. Ernest Smith knew about it.
He knew about it, but
he knew about it. Guess what? I invited y'all to it. It's
You didn't
going
invite
up.
me to it.
Counselors, point of order.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, I don't care if the meeting is adjourned or not. It's going up.
Adjourn the meeting.
It's going up.
No, you need a consensus. All in favor of adjournment?
We don't have anything.
Order in the court.
What court?
Order.
Right.
9 times out
We
of
don't
10.
have any policy on this, on this thing. So whatever she wants to do, Dottie can do it. But this is the first I heard of it. I'll be honest.
And
about
that's
that.
good.
Okay. No, that's not good.
It is good because you always, you want to take signs
I
at the
didn't know
wrong
anything about
time.
it. Period. But
You want a period.
but we through with it. We're
Don't
through
be
with
trying
it,
to take
okay?
nobody's sides. I can
No,
do
I'm not
that.
taking anybody's side.
Okay, so
You
I
didn't tell
invited you.
anybody.
I invited
You know, but you are in Ward 2.
And it don't matter if it's Ward 9.
He
It
got that
don't matter if it's Ward 10.
Yeah, but you have to be-
One at a time.
He was invited to come and he knew about it. It seemed like he's got so much emotion about it because he was not the one thought of it. And that's what's going on. And I asked y'all to stay out of
So
it.
you saying that because you thought of
Yeah,
that he's upset?
he's
with you?
upset. He's upset,
All right,
yes.
well, okay. The
So
meeting-
everybody stay out of
Tracy, the
it.
meeting's adjourned. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Go on and do what you need
And
to
I'm
do.
getting ready to do other people too.
Okay. You gonna do me?
You want to do?